Welcome to the show. I am MMA insider and Herb Dean's dog sitter, Joey Venti, and you're listening to the MMA History Podcast, the only podcast dedicated 100% to the preservation of mixed martial arts history. Interviews and stories about the early days of MMA direct from the men who lived it. Hundreds of interviews, thousands of hours of research, all conducted by the most obsessed mind in the business, the MMA detective Mike Davis. Join us as we document the history of the sport we all love. Welcome back to the MMA History Podcast. I am Joey Venti. I'm here with Mike Davis. He is the MMA detective. I am Herb Dean's dog sitter, and we have a special episode today. Our guest was the runner-up of Season 2 of The Ultimate Fighter and the owner of the greatest nickname in the history of that sport, the Hillbilly Heartthrob, Brad Imes. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Brad, your career is one of those throwback type things where like people today, I don't think could fully wrap their head around. Would you agree with that?
I mean, it was unorthodox, I guess. I didn't really have any fight. I didn't have a background in fighting or like any kind of martial art or wrestling or anything really. I was out of work and just decided that would be something I could probably make money at. And
That's crazy.
So, Joey, one of the interesting things about Brad, like we go through their Wikipedia. That's one of the small steps that we take in regards to research. It said Brad graduated high school at 5'9", and come college, you're all of a sudden like at 6'7".
Yeah.
How does that happen? What were you eating?
Well, from a young age, I pretty much ate everything that was in front of me. And that didn't really matter as to like how big I was when I was a kid. I used to just eat everything in sight. And I remember when I was 15, I broke my leg in a jet ski accident. And I got an x-ray so they could set the bone, and the doctor said, "Oh, your growth plates are wide open. You're going to be at least 6'4". And so, of course, I went to school and told everybody, "Hey, I'm going to be 6'4" someday, and you guys better treat me nice." And then I got to be a senior, and I was still short, and I thought I had some disease where I was never going to grow, and I was just going to be little forever. Was never going to reach puberty, and so, but then I did, and it just quick. I got big. I was pretty unorthodox, pretty uncoordinated for quite a bit. Yeah, for quite a while.
Well, when you grow that fast, yeah.
I played football in college. I walked on as a sophomore at Mizzou. I didn't play as a freshman, and I mean, I was a hard worker and I was good in the weight room, but I was just unorthodox and uncoordinated. And then I got to be a senior, and it kind of started to all take shape. I earned a scholarship. I wasn't able to start, but I did earn a scholarship and got some playing time. And then my 40 time after I graduated before my senior year in high school or college, I think my 40 time was like a 5'4" or something. It was not very good. And then for the combine, I went and ran for the scouts, and it was like just above a 5 flat. And then like a year after that, it was a 4.85. And my vertical jump went from 24 inches to 33 inches. And my long jump went from like 8.5 feet to 10 feet. And so I really just kind of grew into my body. I did work very hard. I was very dedicated to, trying to develop myself, but I kind of think back and wonder, what would have happened if I would have grown at a normal age? Like when I was 13, I would have matured instead of when I was almost 18. But if that would have happened, maybe I wouldn't have had the chip on my shoulder that I did, and maybe I wouldn't have had as much success. So you can't really, God has a plan for all of us, and that was mine, and I can't really complain. It worked out all right.
Were you playing defensive tackle?
I was an offensive tackle in college.
Offensive, okay.
Yeah, so about, I think at my heaviest, I was like 325.
Wow.
but that
Wow.
was too big. So I moved a lot better at around 310, 305, something like that.
So how do you stumble into the MMA space? Like the earliest gym that I can trace you back to is, was it Sacramento BJJ?
That's correct. And that was where I first ever really did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Is that Cassio Wernick?
No, that was not Warnick's gym. That was Carlos Garcia was he was the guy I trained under. We trained at a high school wrestling gymnasium. I didn't have very many training partners. Actually, I did train with Christian Wellish. He trained with us a little bit. That's a deep dive. Christian did fight in the UFC. He fought Czech Congo. Actually gave Czech Congo a really good fight. And then, I don't know, I can't really remember what happened. I think that I can't remember if he gassed or something happened. He ended up getting knocked out by Czech, I think. But yeah, I trained there, and then I got on the reality show. I'd only been training for like 9 months when I got on the show.
Yeah, let's go from the beginning. So you stumble into Sacramento Jiu-Jitsu. Like, what's your first day like? I mean, you're a behemoth of a human being. There's very few training partners your size anyway.
Yeah. For whatever reason, like I wrestled when I was a kid, and I was okay, but I was never great at wrestling. I did it for a long time and I enjoyed it, but I wasn't great at it. But jiu-jitsu, for whatever reason, it really made sense to me, and I was just good at it right away. Not to say that I was some kind of phenom, but I was able to do things pretty quickly that most people can't do and train for a while and can't do.
Are you pretty flexible? Are you flexible?
Yeah, well, not as flexible as I used to be, but I used to do yoga. I don't do it as much anymore. I probably should, but I used to do yoga. I was a strength coach at TCU, and that was something that I brought into their strength training program. Was I started teaching yoga to the football players and stuff like that. But I had really good flexibility. I could put my feet behind my head. I could grab around my feet. Had really good flexibility.
So prior to you getting on here, like Joey and I kind of go through assessments of fighters. You had crazy good cardio and a granite chin until you didn't.
Yeah. Well, when I was in college, my brother was in a fraternity.
Your brother Brian.
My brother Brian was in a fraternity.
Your twin brother.
No, we're Irish twins. We're like a year apart. And we used to hang out all the time, and so we were kind of like twins. But he was in a fraternity, and we went out to the bars one night, and then afterwards we went to the diner in Columbia, and we ate, and then he got up and he decided he was going to run back to the frat house, and so we did. We got in our vehicle and drove over there. And he was in a fight in the front yard with one of his frat brothers. And we get out, and I try to get in the middle of it. And some guy takes a swing at me, and I hit him, and he falls down. Anyway, it gets out of hand. And I never really got aggressive with anybody. I was just trying to hold people in place. And somebody hit me in the back of the head with a fire extinguisher. And fractured my skull and fractured a sinus in my skull right back here. And so I've had vertigo ever since I was in college, and I played college football with vertigo. I fought in the UFC with vertigo. And I never really appreciated how bad it was until I tried to play softball after I had retired from fighting and everything. And I played with some buddies on a softball team. They put me in the outfield, and I have no judgment of depth perception. So like a ball would come and I would run forward and it'd land behind me, or I'd back up and it'd land in front of me, or I would run for it. And if I wasn't looking at the ground, I would fall down. And that was when it really occurred to me that what vertigo was doing to me. And I guess that I look back on my fight career and the success that I did have, and it is kind of amazing to me that I was able to do that with that issue. Because at the beginning of my career, I could just eat punches and just walk through them, and that was unfortunately part of my game plan. But then as time wore on, it got to the point where I just couldn't take a punch anymore. If I got hit once in a fight, I would go down. So, yeah, but that's another one of those things that had never happened. I don't know, what might have happened with my career from that either. So,
but your cardio, like you had small man cardio for a big heavyweight. Like your output, like if you really look at your output, it's abnormal.
Well, I was a strength coach. Donnie Summer was my strength coach at Mizzou, and then he was my boss when I went to TCU. And he was like one of the great strength coaches in the history of college athletics. And I really learned a lot from him and my time at Mizzou. Actually, Dave Tobe was one of my strength coaches at Mizzou, who's now the special teams coach for the Chiefs. And it's like kind of renowned as the greatest special teams coach in the country. Well, he was a strength coach first. And our strength and conditioning program at Mizzou was really top notch. And again, when I went to TCU, so I learned a lot from those guys. But also I knew that I did not have a whole lot of skill as a fighter, but being able to outlast people is a skill in itself.
Oh, dude, yeah. Like if you look at some of your opponents that went deep into the fight, you can see the look on their eyes going, this guy just won't go away.
Yeah. Yeah. But then that's another thing, like towards the end of my career, it all fades. And, it was, when I first retired, it really bothered me for a long time, thinking back on your career, because the only thing you remember is the losses and the times when you didn't show out the way you felt like you should have. You have to really be removed from it. I think probably years, and I think a lot of fighters would tell you this, in order to look back on your career and really appreciate it for what it was. And that took some time. I didn't like talking about it. I didn't like, it just.
But also you're also forced. And I'm not going to name names here, but there's certain people where they haven't fought in 20 years, and all they do is update their social media with fight pictures from way back when. And they haven't closed that chapter yet. They haven't moved forward.
I can't say that I'm completely innocent of that. Occasionally I will throw up the bloody Brad picture.
Nah, that's just a memory.
Every once in a great while, I'll put it up there. And then, but I got like people will tag me in the fight. The fight with Rashad is the one that floats around the internet all the time, and I get tagged in that thing probably about every month by somebody. So I get reminded of it. I was like, I wish I had a really popular fight that I won. That would have been great if that one could get shared on Facebook daily, but it's not. So,
well, let's look at your first fight. So somebody had to plant the seed about fighting. I mean, did you kind of figure this out on your own, or was there just like a dead end that you hit that you said, okay, well, I'm a big body, I can at least, maybe cause some damage?
Well, I had a good friend of mine that had fought in Japan. He had fought in K1, or
Who may
So,
we ask?
Stephen Gamlin.
Okay.
Stephen played
Oh yeah, big dude.
defensive line at Arkansas State with some good friends of mine, and he fought. I think he fought Bob Sapp.
He did. Yep.
And he might have fought Hoost or something.
Oh my God, I don't wish that on anybody.
Yeah, he never won, but like great big guy. And I was talking to Stefan about it, and this is before I got into fighting. And he was German. He was like, Brad, you should get into MMA. The Japanese love big white guys. You make a lot of money. And, I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing. He's like, neither did I, but they pay me a lot of money to go fight people. Like, well, I got nothing better to do. Might as well, I guess. So actually, my brother and I actually went to Seattle. This was like right before I decided to get into fighting. And we went to Seattle to go walk the docks and try to get jobs on fishing boats in the Bering Sea. Which was kind of laughable because everyone we talked to was like, you guys are way too big to be on one of these boats. These boats are made by like Japanese companies. The bulkheads are like 6 feet tall. You guys are going to kill yourselves. And so my brother and I basically just got wasted for a weekend in Seattle. And then I came back to Sacramento and I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to start fighting then. I can't get on a fishing boat. So I reached out to somebody at the gym I went to. They knew Carlos. I went and talked to Carlos. We started training. He had a hookup with the WEC with Scott Adams.
Here, let's start. Yeah, let's start. Let's start here. So, September 24th, 2004, you fight an amateur fight with the IFC Night of Warriors. Terroll Dees is your first. Is this your first fight ever?
First fight ever.
Okay.
Yeah, that was. I didn't eat anything. I was afraid I was going to throw up. And then I got in the. I was like really, like low blood sugar before I even went into the fight. Like as I was walking up, I felt like I was about to collapse, and then I got in there, and then I don't really remember anything about that fight. Other than I guess I got knocked out or got knocked down and they stopped it, whatever. But I learned something very valuable from that fight, and that was eat before you fight. And I got one out of the way. And so that was my only amateur fight. I figured, this was a good jumping off point. I might as well now go to the WEC, which at that time was like one of the bigger organizations south of the UFC.
Okay, so, dude, this is wild. So LeVar Johnson hurts his leg and he drops out of a fight. So then you take it last minute against Jeremy Freitag.
Correct.
Who's out of Capital City Fight Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
And a pretty tough guy. I mean, doesn't have like the oohs and ahs on his record.
Mm-hmm.
But the dude is durable and he's friggin' tough.
Mm-hmm. And
you
I did not
don't
know.
have a camp. You didn't have a camp.
I did not know what the hell I was doing. I mean, I had been training for, I think, a month.
Oh, wow.
That fight. They tried to get me to fight James Irvin when I had been training for like a week. I was at a WEC fight because we used to go to all of them. And I was at one of those fights at the Palace. And whoever, I can't remember who James was supposed to fight, but he was supposed to fight somebody. And they dropped out or got hurt or whatever. And they came in the locker room like, hey, does your boy want to fight? And I was like, yeah, I'll fight.
What a way to ask. You know what I mean? What a way to ask.
Carlos, thank God, was like, absolutely not. He is not going to do that. And I mean, James would have fucking throttled me. At that point, I had absolutely zero idea what I was doing. And James was a seasoned guy. I mean, at that point, I don't know how many fights he'd had, but I think he was the WEC heavyweight champ at the time. And that most likely would not have been a good evening for me. So thankfully, Carlos stepped in and said, no, he's not going to do that. So then I trained for like another 3 weeks. before I fought Jeremy. And Jeremy was not a pushover. I think he was 3-0, 4-0, something like that.
Well, anybody that agrees to fight LeVar Johnson at this time isn't afraid of a hard fight and is very aware of their skill set.
Yeah.
And
LeVar was a beast. He just retired, I think.
Dude, that's a guy we got to get on. Anybody that takes a bullet at a family barbecue is someone we should have on here.
Yeah.
But
and this fight went 15 minutes.
Dude, it's insane. Yeah. It's insane. Freitag burnt himself out pounding on Brad in that first round.
Yeah, I do remember I got called for north-south elbows. I didn't know I couldn't do that.
The 12-6.
Dude.
Stop me. You can't do that. I was like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, who, me?
There was at one point, he has my back, and I'm on my feet standing. And I remember thinking in my mind, I was like, I bet I can do a flip and land on him, and he'll let go. And so I did a flip in the air and landed on him. And sure enough, he let go of the choke.
Joey,
it worked.
These two beat the shit out of each other. Like, skill level, like in terms of like technique, wasn't really high. But even the announcers were like, oh my God, these guys are beating the shit out of each other.
It's a good pro debut.
Dude, it's nuts.
Yeah, it was Blatnick and
really?
Yeah, it was Blatnick and Stephen
Quadros, I think, and Ryan Bennett.
Yeah, dude, R.I.P. Ryan Bennett.
Yeah. God rest his soul. Yeah, they were. And I talked to Blatnick at the next fight I went to, because I think it was, maybe I wasn't fighting that fight, but the next one that I came down to, and he expressed how impressed he was with my cardio, which was quite flattering from a guy.
I'm watching,
gold medalist.
Dude, I'm watching this, and then I go and kind of like check the records and like go through my notes and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, this is a last minute fight, and he's got that cardio. So you go to Wiki.
I was always training, and I did train hard, and I would go swim every day, like swim a half time every day.
There's guys in the UFC that are training for fights that don't have that kind of cardio. Much lighter than you. And heavyweights don't have, I mean, it is incredibly impressive.
Oh, thank you.
It really is. It was just like, oh man, this guy's a problem. Yeah. So you beat him. You guys are both from Sacramento. It was kind of like, and that's a big fight. That's a big Sacramento fight between my heavyweight versus your heavyweight. So big gym rivalry. You come out with a split decision win.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go and fight in Reality Combat down in Louisiana, November 13th, 2004. It's listed as an amateur fight.
No, I never fought that. That is incorrect on Sherdog. So
Frank Slaughter is not on your record.
That is not on my. No, I never.
Okay, there's a couple like this.
That's on there, but no, I never.
Okay, good. That's why we're here. Okay, now let me ask: is this your brother?
What is his name?
Well, Frank Slaughter is the opponent, but do you think your brother? This may have been your brother, and it got switched over to you.
Well, my brother didn't start fighting until
2008.
Yeah, I was almost retired from fighting when he started.
Okay. I figured maybe there's.
I don't know what's going on, and maybe there was a doppelganger trying to.
A 6'7", 250 some odd doppelganger.
I know that there was another hillbilly heartthrob on the Ultimate Fighter like years. Later. Yeah, they did a heavyweight. Another heavyweight one. There was a hillbilly heartthrob guy.
So
why would you, of all names, why that?
I tell you, if I'm Frank Slaughter, I'm calling you a liar. Nope, I got him. I got him. That's me.
Maybe that memory has been punched out of my brain. I don't know, but I think that was me.
So then, and I think there's a couple on your record like this. We'll get to it.
Pele was the next one. which was Eric Pele's nephew.
It was Eric Pele's nephew. Dude,
Lace,
Eric Pele was a bad boy.
Yeah, he was.
Lace was not. That was kind of a.
Well, here
He was a big boy.
well, the original opponent was Rick Collop.
Yeah, I have no idea who that is. That sounds somewhat familiar, but I think Lace was a late shoe in, or a late fill in, and
Just for the audience at home, I think this is the guy that wore the
football pants.
yeah.
That was Lace.
So you wreck him, you knock him out. And dude, and Lace just so, and this is when you know, like you kind of got to walk through that night and you can work on some stuff. He's from the School of Hard Knocks, Bakersfield. Any of that School of Hard Knocks stuff, like from way back in the day, you're like, this is a layup. 6'6", 348 pounds. Did not want to remove his shirt before the fight. 700 pounds in the ring. You made quick work of him.
Yeah, that was a gift fight. So.
Yeah. And then there's Mike Dexter, May 17th, 2005. Mike Dexter's 5-1 out of Strike Zone from New London, Connecticut.
Yeah, that was he was a really nice guy. Actually, Mike and I kind of became buddies for a short time after that. Very terrifying to look at.
Yeah.
Had center tattooed across his stomach, and like big muscular guy, tattoos up and down both arms. And that was an exciting fight. I mean, I still didn't really know what I was doing, but there was a lot of blood. People loved it. So.
Well, you were here.
What's
so
that?
Oftentimes you get to learn about a fighter when they face a little bit of adversity. In the opening exchange, a headbutt lands and you get a pretty nasty cut above your eye.
Yeah. I thought that he had hit me, but after I watched the video, it turned out it was a headbutt. He threw a punch and it missed, and then like immediately we butted heads. So I think I was stepping in at the time he threw it or something.
And then you win with a triangle, but you have some like really unique movements, like very unorthodox.
Unorthodox is a very polite way of saying unskilled.
I don't know if I agree with that. So like you went for like a knee bar by bending.
Yeah.
His knee, it's like a really strange position, but you can see it might work.
Yeah, well, thank you for. I think I kind of knew what I was going for, and then I was like, oh, this will work. I've seen this before, and then I did that. So
okay.
I had very few submissions that I knew how to do. If you go back and watch the Freitag fight, I try to go for a calf splicer.
You know what? That's the fight. Okay, that's the move I'm talking about. It's like which was years before it even made it to the UFC, and I think he almost got it.
I didn't set it up right, and I didn't do it quite right, but my training partner, Jason Howdeggy, who also passed away, unfortunately, but he showed me that move like the week of the fight. We were training, and he was like, oh, you should try this if you ever get an opportunity. And I remember and I tried it, and all I did was just basically set myself up to get teed off on by Jeremy. And then he got me in a rear naked, which I was able to get out of, and then was able to pound on him. But Jason said that after I went for that and it failed, Carlos just looked over him and just glared at him. Like, why did you show him that nonsense? He doesn't know anything, and you're teaching him this high-level shit that he obviously can't do quite right. I almost got beaten as a result.
So Mike Dexter, you win with the triangle.
Mm-hmm.
Super bloody fight. Like you had mentioned, a bloody fight, and then you try out for the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
This is the second season.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the entry process like?
Well, you send in, at that time, I don't know how they do it now. They probably go out and like recruit guys to do it. But at that time, you would send in a video, like a highlight video, and you'd send in basically like a resume. And then they would go off of that and they would make selections. And they brought, I don't know, 50, 100 guys, whatever it was, to Vegas. And we all stayed in one of the station casinos. And then we were just in the room for like 3 or 4 days. Couldn't leave the room. You were just there, like morning, day, and night, unless you were going to get a physical or you were going to get fingerprinted because they ran like a background check on you, or you were going to do an interview with the executives or the UFC or whoever. I don't think that they put us through a workout while we were there. I think it was just all strictly other stuff. And we were there for like 3 or 4 days. I remember they brought me into a room to interview with Dana was in there, and then a bunch of like I think it was Pilgrim was the production company. A bunch of those guys, and they ask you about your fight career, which at that time wasn't very long, and they ask you about what's your intro music going to be and weird shit. So
okay, so there has to be a moment where you say to yourself, boom, nailed it, got it. What was that question?
Before I even went out there, I talked to Scott, and because Scott called me, he's like, they're doing season 2 of The Ultimate Fighter. You gotta put in for it. I was like, Scott, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. He's like, doesn't matter. You're a freaking giant. You're built like the Hulk. They're gonna love you. You're gonna get on. It doesn't matter. I was like, well, yeah, but then I'm gonna get on there and get the shit kicked out of me. He's like, that doesn't matter either. It's just the minute you get on there, just tell everybody you don't know what the fuck you're doing. I was like, all right, I guess. So I sent them my tape and sent them my resume, and they called me, and I went in and got a call shortly thereafter, and like, you're on the show.
Did you explain that to them in a pre-interview process? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like,
I told him, I was like, look, I'm big and strong, and I'm in great shape, but I don't have any idea what the fuck I'm doing. So
he's in. That's what we want.
Well, what's the worst that could happen? He's going to look really cool losing if he doesn't have the goods, right?
Yeah. And I remember talking to Brandon. Brandon was really nice, and he was a good guy. And he was, if he would have been on the show.
Which guy are you talking about?
He was phenomenal.
Who is this?
Brandon Vera.
Oh yeah. Dude, man, that guy owes us an interview. Go ahead.
He at that time he was very, very highly skilled, like great Muay Thai, great jiu-jitsu. He would have probably been the guy to beat. As it turns out, the guys that got on the show, it was Mike Whitehead that was really the guy to beat. And I trained with Mike, and Mike was probably one of the very best people I ever trained with in the room. In the room, Mike was a monster. Striking, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, everything, he had it. For whatever reason, Mike couldn't transition it in the ring, which is unfortunate, but it happens. But yeah, so anyway, back to I got,
So wait, what was the question where you nailed it? There had to have been like that aha moment.
I think just when they asked me what my intro music was going to be, and they're all smiling at me like they had just gotten to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to be on the show.
What was the song that you told them?
Save a horse, ride a cowboy. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, I told him that I would come out and it would start off with Josie Wales when the guy walks into the bar and says, I'm looking for Josie Wales. And he says, you a bounty hunter? And he says, man's got to do something to make a living. He says, dying ain't no way to make a living, son. And then it was going to go into that song. And they were like, that's awesome. We love it. And I was like, there's no chance. I'm not going to get on the show. As it turns out, I never walked out to either of those things in my entire career, but I guess
they couldn't get the rights to it.
But yeah, and I never had like a single walkout song. I came out to all kinds of different shit all the time.
Okay. So like from you're starting the film until like you make it to the finals, what kind of time is in between that? Because in the Ultimate Fighter season 1, it was like 9.5 months.
Yeah, we did not. They were the way they did it season 1 is I think they only did one fight a week. We did 2 fights a week, one for each weight class. Okay. So ours was half as long, 2.5 weeks, 7 weeks, whatever it was. And then there was probably like a 2.5, 3 month layover between the time we stopped filming and we had the fight in Vegas.
And at this point, you guys were like the contestants, all tight-lipped in regards to what took place inside the house. I mean, later on, it loosened up, but right around this time, you guys were rock solid. Very few leaks.
I mean, I didn't tell my mother. I didn't tell my family. But I don't know. I don't have a very good poker face either. So,
Joey, where do you think he was picked?
Oh, I know where he was picked. Yeah, he was picked 8th, just like Luke Como.
Yeah,
dude, the 2 guys that were picked last made it to the finals.
Yep.
Yeah, Luke was an odd guy, man. But he had it, you know. But he's still a bit of an odd guy. I haven't seen him in a long time. Last time I saw him was when I fought in Houston, and we were on the same card, and he was talking about how he drinks his own pee. Yeah, like, man, you are on another level.
They call that being on the spectrum nowadays.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Really nice guy though. I mean, but
if the term furry was around, like back then, I could see him
perhaps
qualifying for that. Like, yeah. You brought the cat litter box to school with you? What?
They sell a lot of tickets to Comic-Con because of guys like that.
Yeah. So you make it to the house. Does it feel like prison to you?
It did. I'd always said, like, people ask me, like, oh, what was it like to be on the house, on the show and do all that? I was like, you know what? One of the greatest opportunities I ever had. I'm so glad I did it. I would never freaking do it again because it was miserable. You can't, I mean, all you do is go to the house, go to the gym, go to the house, go to the gym, go to the gym twice a day. Saturday, you get to go to the YMCA, but then all we did was swim for like a half a mile or a mile or whatever, and then come back. So yeah, it was terrible.
Was there booze in the house for season 2, or did they take it away by then?
What's that?
Was there booze, alcohol allowed in the house? Or?
Yeah. Season 1, they just drank like fish, I guess.
Yeah.
Season 2, we didn't drink at all. Like, none of us drank. I remember it was a week before the show ended, and we all got together and got to devise this plan. And we went to the production people with Pilgrim and all that. We were like, hey, we're gonna have a party here at the house. We want you to get us these things. So we gave them like this whole list of alcohol that we wanted. And so they brought it, and we're like, thanks. And then we just put it in a cabinet. And then when the show got over, then we took those booze and took them. The Fertitas put us up for a week at the Texas Station Casino. And we took, I don't know, probably took years off my life. And we just partied in Vegas for like a week. Not all of us, but a number of us.
Yeah. Huh. So would you say your skill level went through like drastic changes because of your training schedule?
Oh yeah. I got so much better from the time I got on the show to the time I left it. I mean, I had never had training partners like that. I had never had coaching like that. I'd never had facilities like that. As far as MMA goes. And so it really, I got so much better throughout the show. And then after I got off the show, I went to Miletich camp. And so it just really accelerated my career a great deal. So
Yeah.
as far as that goes, I mean, the show was great for my career for a million different reasons, but that's certainly one of them.
So your first opponent is Rob MacDonald. He kind of got dogged out. Like he was complaining of an injury, and they really kind of accelerated like I don't know, the campaign to kind of make him look bad.
Let me tell you, reality shows is not reality is the opposite of what they generally are. Um, he did not really complain about his injury that much, I guess. I mean, he talked about it a little bit, but I mean, if you watch the show, you would think that was all he talked about. Now he did, like when we were sitting there, yeah, I guess it's obvious he did, but we were sitting there when we picked each other to fight, and he was like, "Hey, which knee is hurt? And I'm not going to attack that knee." And I was like, "That's bullshit. Don't do that. I don't care which arm is hurt on you. I'm going to attack it. So don't do me any favors."
And to his credit, after your fight, the issue that he had said, like he completely separated his bicep. Like,
Yeah, it was legit.
like he wasn't lying. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, he toughed through it. I mean, it's strange. He was a Sean Tompkins student too. He was one of those old school.
Yeah. Remember when Rob and I would train together, when they were doing like all the preliminary stuff where they were um, evaluating us, and so they had us like wrestling together and boxing together and all this stuff. And Rob and I would do wrestling together, and Rob was like on the ladder for the Canadian Greco-Roman team, and so Rob and I would clinch, and then Rob would do some ridiculous throw on me, and I'd go ass over tea kettle on the ground. And then as soon as we hit the ground, I would submit him with something like a freaking leg lock or a triangle or an arm bar or something. And then they'd stand us back up, and he would throw my ass across the ring again. And then we get to the ground, and then I'd submit him with some other wild shit. And it was like that back and forth. And and I remember like Matt and Rich just thought it was hysterical that that was how it was going with us. But so and so when I got paired up with him, I was very confident. I was like, I know as soon as he goes to the ground, I got him. So.
All right. Obviously, you're an athlete. You've played high levels of college sports. Does it mess with your head getting picked last?
Not really. I kind of expected it. I was also injured. Um, my knee was all banged up. My elbows. Um, I had like I got at the time, and I've had surgery on one of my elbows. But I had like bad bone spurs and loose bodies and stuff in my elbows. And occasionally when I would like go through hard training, they would swell up, and it would get to the point I couldn't even hardly move my arm. And I was kind of going through that at the time that we were doing all this, because we were training for like 3 hours twice a day, like hard, intense training. And so my elbows both swelled up. I had a knee injury that I got actually before I got on the show, um, that I was nursing. So then I ended up, Rob and I actually went to the hospital or doctor together and got shots of cortisone. I got shot up with cortisone in both my elbows and both my knees.
Oof.
And, which was awesome, because then after that, all the swelling went down, and then I was good. But I also, at that time, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, really. So it was not a terrible surprise, I guess. So, but when I also kind of
Hmm.
manipulated that whole situation because when Rob and I went to the doctor together, and he was saying, I just want to be the first one to fight. And I was like, you know what? I was like, if we win the challenge, I'll demand that I fight, and I'll demand that I fight you, and you demand that you fight me. And he's like, yeah, we're going to do that. I was like, great. I was like, because I know that way I can get one win, because I knew I could beat Rob, because I knew I could submit Rob, because Rob was better stand up than me, and he was a better wrestler than me, but he was more of a wrestler. And so he would want to take me down. And as soon as he did, I knew that I had him. So,
The Canadians are so nice. Like they're just so polite.
right.
They
Yeah. So,
really are.
yeah. But
Yeah. Yeah, they're really polite. Seth Petruzelli, we had talked about your cardio earlier and your durability. That's what won this fight.
yeah. And Seth was very, very skilled, really
Yeah.
good, really good stand-up fighter. He'd been doing like Kung Fu since he was a kid.
Still does it. Still
Yeah.
does it. He's got a
Yeah.
kung fu school.
Better
Like
he was when we were on.
he's currently got a kung fu school.
Yeah, he does.
Like
I think he had Silverback MMA. I think he had it when we were actually on the show together, or he got it like right after. He's been doing that for a while, but I mean, he fought in over in K1 against Sap before he got on the reality show.
he kind of got robbed in that fight.
Yeah, he took a knee because he like got a pinch something in his shoulder, and they jumped in and stopped the fight, and he was like, "What the fuck are you doing? All I'm doing is taking a knee. I can do this." That they were Bob was in trouble, and they weren't about to let that happen. So
Right.
pretty much,
Yeah.
Bob was like Godzilla to them over there in Japan. I mean, he made it look like a little person.
So at the risk of repeating myself, I know I've said this in about a dozen podcasts. I'm going to say it again right now. Bob was so popular in Japan. They used to have those Halloween pop-up stores with just his merchandise that included tea bags filled with body hair.
Ah,
Not kidding. That was an actual product that was sold there. Yes.
Bit of a weird culture over there.
Yeah. Especially the pixelation. I never understood that. Like,
Yeah.
weird. So after you beat Seth, split decision, I honestly, I think you shocked everybody, especially the coaches. You go to Miletich right after. Did you get along with Matt Hughes while on the show?
No.
So then why did you go there?
Pretty much because of Tim.
Did you know Tim?
Yeah, well, Tim was on the show training with us.
Okay.
He was getting ready for a fight and needed big guys to train with. So he came to Vegas and trained with us on the show quite a bit. And Tim and I got to be, I don't want to say buddies, but we were
Cool. Yeah, you guys are cool.
with each other while I was on the show. And he was like, you got to come to Miletich. We got big guys to train with. And it was close to home too. I'm from Missouri, and so Iowa was just, it was a half day drive to get home if I needed to go home. So that's where I went.
So Tim Sylvia still has choice words about Matt Hughes, like as recently as a Jackson podcast he was on. Does it surprise you that Tim still carries a little bit of animosity towards Matt?
I actually wasn't even aware of that. I mean, I think that, I think that given what has happened to Matt, it's probably time to just let that go.
Okay, fair enough.
And
Fair enough. Hey, dude, you said a lot with just that little. Okay, yeah. Okay, so you work out with Billy Rush and Jeremy Horn. Why don't we talk about Jeremy Horn? How was he as a training partner?
I didn't really train with Jeremy. Like, he was more of a coach. I'm sure that I rolled with and sparred with Jeremy, but I don't have any recollection of it at all. although I'm sure it probably happened. Uh, but I trained with Mike, went out there. Mike Whitehead went out there with me to Utah, and he trained with me. And then we had a host of other guys. Luder was out there at the time.
Was Joe Riggs?
Riggs. I trained with Riggs when I was in Cincinnati.
Okay. Wait, with Gerzel and Franklin.
Joe Riggs is who showed me what a gogoplata was.
Joe, you gotta be kidding me.
No, Joe caught me in a gogoplata when I was training with him, ready for the Rashad Evans fight. And I was like, what the hell was that? He's like, it's gogoplata. I was like, you need to show me how you did that. And then I dedicated myself to learning how to do that because I wanted to get somebody with it. And I used to catch people with it in practice, and then I was able to pull it off in a couple of fights. But
well, Joey, would you like to let everybody know the crazy statistic about that couple of fights that he just mentioned?
That he's tied for the record in the UFC for most gogoplata finishes?
No, MMA.
In MMA.
Shinya Yaki and yourself. I'm assuming Shinya bought your gogoplata instructional DVD set.
Yeah.
but nobody had back-to-back.
Well, I don't think there's another heavyweight that's ever done it.
Yeah, I'm almost certain that's the case.
Yeah.
Shocked if there was.
I mean, it's 6 times in MMA. You got 2 of them. Shinya Yaki's got 2. And, one of his was against, was it Joachim Hansen, which I remember watching that like on TV and I was shocked. Okay, so you go with Miletich. Was Ben Rothwell out there at the time?
Yeah. Ben and I were good friends. I was actually in Ben's wedding back in the day.
Okay, still married. He's got an incredible gym. One of the nicest spots.
Yeah, you know what? If I ever get a chance, is it in Kenosha?
It is.
Yeah, if I ever get a chance to go up there, I'll have to go in and say hi to him.
Yeah, beautiful spot.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him in a long time. We talk shit back and forth on Facebook every once in a while. Me and Mike Sesnolevich. So
yeah, Mike C. Yeah.
Me and Mike C were pretty tight when I was of a Miletich, and so occasionally they will see something on the internet or something and just send me something talking shit, and I do the same for them on occasion. So
it means you care about each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all that means.
Some men tell each other that they love each other.
Right. Yep. I'm gonna badmouth you to your face, and then I'm gonna, really defend you when you're not around. That's how it goes.
Looking like a wuss.
What about Justin Eilers?
I did not train with Justin.
You did not.
He was gone. When did he get shot? You know?
I don't have that year in front of me. Joey, I think you got a computer.
I do. I'll get it. Carry on.
He was not there when I was up there.
Okay.
He'd just been there. I followed him by a few months. And I think that he got killed after
December of 2008.
Okay, yeah. So that happened after I was up there.
Mm-hmm.
Never did train with him. He never did come to Iowa when I was there. So,
how rough was that Miletich room?
I mean, it was rough. It was. Fridays were ring speed, or was it Thursday? Thursday. Like we've trained Monday. Monday, Wednesday was grappling. Tuesday, Thursday was sparring. Tuesday was sparring with takedowns, and I don't know, they used to say like 75%, but it kind of depended who you went with. And then Thursday was ring speed, and Thursday, people got knocked out in the room every Thursday.
No.
Every Thursday. Guys would come in from other gyms, and they wouldn't make it to Thursday. A lot of times they wouldn't make it to Wednesday.
Any names?
They would come in for grappling on Monday. Tuesday we'd be sparring. And if you were from another gym, Tuesday was ring speed too. They just tried to, we just tried to bury people.
But you got like welcomed into this group. There had to have been some sort of initiation.
I got knocked out the first night I was there.
Who got you?
Tim. We were sparring, and Pat came over and was like, "Hey, I want you guys to work clinch and work on dirty boxing out of the clinch." And it was like, I think it was like the last round of sparring, and we're like, "All right." And so we're doing that, and I caught Tim with a left hook out of the clinch that buzzed him, and he shoved me away from him. And so I kind of like just did like this and kind of dropped my hands and started walking forward to clinch with him again. And he head kicked me and knocked me out, like completely out. And they dragged me over to the side of the wall and they leaned me up against the wall. And I come to and they're like, "What's your name?" "Brad." "Where you at?" "Iowa." "Who are you staying with?" "I don't know." And and I obviously wasn't awake for this, but Rothwell told me later, he's like, as soon as that happened, Pat comes walking over and looks at Tim, is like, "You're a dick." He's like, "Whoa, what did I do?" That was.
Yeah, that's a lot of mat space you're taking up. Like, you're talking 6'7".
Yeah.
Like you're really impeding everybody else's training at that point by laying down on the mats. Tony Fryklund he had been up there.
I don't know if I was training with Tony. I think maybe a little bit. I was on a card. Actually, I wasn't on a card with Tony. I cornered for a guy on a card that Tony was on. Rob Timmons, who you may where he fought in the UFC a number of times. He was an amateur fighter out of Kansas City, who when I would go to Kansas City, I would train with him. And really good jiu-jitsu, really good stand-up. He was a dog. I mean, had it all. But I mean, he grew up in a really shit area and kind of had a little bit that to him. And all he did was fight amateur. That's kind of a tangent, but and I was like, "You need to start doing pro fights. I can get you a pro fight. You need to start doing that. You can be the freaking toughest guy in Kansas City all your life if you want to, or you could find out if you could be great." And so I got him his first fight at WC against Joe Riggs of all.
Oh.
Not to take it, but he demanded he take it. I was like, "All right, this is a bad idea, but you can take it if you want to." And then he got beat by Joe. But then he went on, and he fought professionally after that.
Yeah, he had a good career. Kimmons had a good career. Yeah.
And I can't even remember the fuck I was going with that story.
Okay.
This is part of being a fighter.
Tony Fryklund. Yeah, the question was about Tony Fryklund.
Oh,
he was another kind of crazy guy.
I heard for Rob on a fight. He fought. Who's the freaking guy from Louisiana on my season, The Ultimate Fighter, that couldn't make weight?
You
know who I'm talking
Jeremy.
about. That sounds right.
Begins with an S.
Anyway. Rob fought him on a card in Kansas City, and Fryklund was the headliner of that show. And so that was where I was going with that. But,
okay. Josh Neer, did you ever?
Yeah, we trained Josh. That was before he had his own place. The dentist.
He's doing real well too, gym wise.
Is he?
Yeah, he's doing. He's not an easy personality.
Josh is very soft spoken.
Yeah,
he is not going to talk your ear off for sure.
No, he's going to sit in the car, complete silence, and you're uncomfortable, but he's not. Yeah, that's Josh. All right, so Rashad Evans, you got fight of the night, November 5th, 2005. You lose a split decision, but man, does your granite chin get shown off in that fight?
Yeah, I don't know. I get a lot of people who come to me, they're like, "Oh, if you won that fight," and if I was scoring it, I would have not scored it. I would have scored it for Rashad.
Dude, that is razor thin.
If I only got knocked down once, I would have won the fight. but he did knock me down twice in 2 different rounds. So, I think that's how I would have scored it. But if you take away one of those knockdowns, I did control the fight. I controlled the ring. I was more aggressive, but he was just so damn quick.
I'll tell you what surprised me. Season 1, you got Force Bonner. Both guys get a contract. When I saw you and Evans really go at it, I was fully expecting, like, you did what they needed. You gave everybody a war. Like, everybody, like, those holy shit moments. That fight is filled with them.
Yeah.
Was there any even offering of a second contract?
No, I mean, I got a contract.
Yeah.
I got a 3-fight contract.
It wasn't a winter contract, though.
No, it wasn't a winter contract. It was the 5-and-5 contract.
Oh.
So yeah, it was hard to make a living back then. I think they do a lot better now. But
What was your side job? Or what was your real job? Fighting was your side job?
All I did was fight for. I mean, I was a bartender when I was in Sacramento, but when I moved to Iowa, all I did was train and fight. And then I had Zions would send me like $2,000 a month, and Warrior Wear sent me $1,000 a month, and that's basically what I lived off of. Which was easy. I lived above the gym. My rent was like $200 a month. I drove a little Volkswagen or some shit. It was like another $300 a month. So, I mean, I didn't have any kids, wasn't married, didn't have any responsibilities at all. So it was, and $1 was worth a hell of a lot more back then than it is now.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't save any money.
Clearly.
But I didn't want for it either. If I wanted to fly to Montana with my buddies for the weekend, I would do it. Like I could do that. But I also didn't own shit and didn't have any money in the bank. But yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, that Rashad Evans fight was just an absolute war. Like, I remember, like, literally telling the party I was having at my house, both these guys are getting a contract, and obviously I was wrong. Dan Christianson is your former roommate. That's UFC Fight Night 4. That's April 6, 2008. Out of everybody they could have matched you up with, like, I was kind of surprised that he was their choice.
Well, it was going to be Gabriel Gonzaga. And Gabriel had to drop out of the fight. He got injured or something like that. And so Dan was not a last minute fill in, but like a few weeks, a month before the fight.
You guys beat the shit out of each other. Like, the punches that you guys landed in that first round, I don't think they're appreciated enough, because both of you guys pounded the shit out of each other.
Yeah, it was a good fight. But that was another one where it's just, I had trained all kinds of things. I had never trained how to defend an armbar. And
come on.
I mean, Miletich wasn't a big armbar gym. It was a big ground and pound gym. Not a whole lot of arm bars going on during grappling at Miletich camp, and it was never anything I really trained for. And he got that, and I remember I was looking over at Pat. And he was like, "Stack them up and I was like, "What? Do what?" And he got me, and then actually broke my elbow. So, yeah.
You were down to
fight, and I had won all 3 rounds, I think.
Yeah, you were down to 248 pounds as well. Like, you were in phenomenal shape.
Yeah, I leaned out. Yeah, I was in good shape for that fight. That was a good one. But Dan is one of the greatest people I've ever met. I really like Dan. I haven't talked to him in forever.
He's refereeing now.
friends on Facebook, but he's what's that?
I think I saw he was refereeing occasionally.
Is he?
Yeah.
No, he was a great person. Really, really like Dan. So.
Yeah, the leg kicks. You weren't checking leg kicks either.
No, I could not walk for like a week after that fight. I remember Dan and I actually shared an ambulance ride to the hospital. And I can't remember.
Oh, you tagged him, dude. You got him. You got like a lot of that locker room would have fallen with half the punches that he took from you.
Yeah. Well, this is gonna be bad. Say this, but I've always been told that Indians have thick skulls and they can take a lot of punches.
Yeah.
So,
Look at the goons in hockey. I mean, go ahead and fight an Indian. Good luck.
Rothwell fought him, and Rothwell got knocked out by him by a head kick. But Rothwell said, "You gotta go to the body. You gotta go to the body on. You can't hit him in the head. You're not gonna hurt him." So, but yeah, it was a great fight. We shared a ride to the in an ambulance on the way to the hospital, and we're both, got blood coming all out of our face and holes in our face and everything else. And
you tagged him hard. Like, I couldn't believe he didn't fall in that first round. Like, you even stopped your head movement because you were landing such heavy punches. Like, you were just fully committed to getting the knockout.
yeah, but it didn't happen. I think that was the night. Did Nick Diaz fight Joe Riggs on that card?
Joey?
Let's see. Hang on. Main event was Bonner and Jardine. Josh Neer, Joe Stevenson, Von Flew, and Kumo.
Maybe not then. Maybe I was cornering for somebody, but I was there for a fight, and it was when Riggs fought Diaz, and they had to both go to the hospital, and then Diaz tried to fight the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was starting like they were calling him, like, I think it was Riggs calling him a WEC fighter and kind of laughing at Diaz. Meanwhile, Riggs won a title in the WEC. It was just so strange. Or maybe it was Diaz saying it to Riggs. There was something was being said about the WEC. Yeah.
They fought at the hospital while there was an IV in Joe Riggs' arm. That's how crazy that story went.
Yeah. It was a different time, man.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you certainly didn't call the cops. You kind of settled your differences on your front lawn. So you get cut by the UFC after that.
Mm-hmm.
What's that phone call like?
Actually, that was after the Herring fight. I got cut.
Okay, so here we go.
Because I was supposed to fight Anthony Hardonk in Sacramento in December. That fight was in April.
Wait. So your record shows Corey Monroe. You beat him in Moline, Illinois. No?
No, yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't remember everybody's name.
Well, yeah, maybe they allowed you to fight outside of it.
Well,
and then
I learned. So I fought Dan, and then in December I was supposed to fight Anthony Hardonk in Sacramento, and I got injured. I blew my knee out in practice. And
that was in November of 2006, Hardonk.
Okay. And then my next fight was in January in Clear Lake, Iowa.
That was Greg Hammer. Okay, but so what about Corey Monroe and Sam Raunch? Sam Raunch in Butte, Montana. I have a feeling these are not real fights on your record.
I don't think those are real fights.
Okay.
I don't know what Sherlock's doing over there.
I think that was from Tapology. Okay, fair enough. I had a feeling those were bullshit fights. Okay. So Hardonk, you get surgery. You had a tumor taken from your nose.
Well, I did not get surgery on my knee. I didn't have insurance. So I just had to rehab my knee. So I tore my knee when it happened, it sounded like someone popping like the little with the bubble wrap or whatever.
Ooh,
yeah. It sounded like my knee. But I went to the hospital. It was funny. It happened. I roll over my back, like, son of a bitch. My God, yeah. Well, Friggin' Sam Hogar runs out of the room, and I guess he goes and calls an ambulance. And he comes back, and he's like, I called you an ambulance. I'm like, cancel that shit. I was like, you know how much fucking ambulance costs? I was like, I am not dying. I was like, I can get in a car and drive to the freaking hospital to have my knee looked at. And so anyway, then I get in a vehicle with somebody, I don't know if it's Sam, whoever, and we drive to the hospital and I get x-rayed. And then I basically spent the next week walking, trying to rehab my knee. And then after that, I had to tape my knee up every time I fought because I just didn't have anything left in it, really. It was just,
Was it a leg lock or did you, the injury,
no,
was it like
I was actually rolling with Sam, and
I think Sam mentioned this.
my left knee was across his belly, and I sat up to go like knee on belly on him, and it just went. It was a freak thing. I'm pretty sure it was Sam. And then it was like, as soon as I went back to training, I'm rolling with Sam again. And I think Sam, I like Sam. Sam's a different guy. Sam would occasionally show up to the gym wearing like workout shorts and no underwear and try to roll. So
oh God.
That's a little
It happens.
Little Easter egg that nobody wanted. But anyway, put that to side.
We'll make that Noah short. Go ahead.
Next time,
that'll be your YouTube clip.
The next time that the next time I'm able to go and roll, like this is weeks later, I'm rolling with Sam. And Sam falls back for a freaking leg lock, like a heel hook on the knee that I had just blown out. And I freaking lost it. What the fuck are you doing? I can barely move right now. Anyway, so I like rehab my knee. Early January, Monty Cox calls me. He's like, hey, I got you a fight in Clear Lake, Iowa. And I was like, who against? He's like, he's got Greg Hammer. He's 5-0, but this is a local guy, like local champ. I was like, all right, great. And then it was like the week before the fight, a buddy of mine calls me. He's not a fighter, but just a friend of mine. He's like, hey, what do you know about this guy you're fighting? I'm like, I don't know, local guy, local tough guy, 5-0, whatever. He's like, is that all you know about him? I'm like, yeah. He's like, have you seen a picture of him? I was like, no. He's like, you should check it out. And so I go online, and the guy is 6'9" and 290 pounds and built like me, not like just a big pile of chewed bubble gum. And I called Monty, and I'm like, what in the fuck are you trying to do to me? He's like, what? He's nothing. He'll be fine. I was like, he's a giant. He's like, well, so are you. I was like, yeah, but I'm a giant on one leg. He's like, you'll be fine. It's like, all right. So I go up there, and it's like 30 below zero up there. There's freaking vehicles parked on the ice and shit.
Incredible main event. That's an incredible main event.
Oh yeah, for this, and it was a little tiny ring, like it was like a small cage in like BFW hall or some shit, and they had.
Was Matt Hughes the referee?
No, some local guy freaking on the payroll, and but I mean, this little crowd in northern Iowa got a matchup of probably two of the bigger guys to go head to head
in the entire Midwest.
Like at that time in the history of the sport, right? In this freaking VFW hall up in freaking Clear Lake, Iowa. And anyway, so we go out there. I just like come out and jab the guy, and he falls down. I jump on top of him, but it's 3-minute rounds. So like ground and pound rounds over, and come back out in the second round. I back him up against the cage, and he steps, and I step into a hook, and he knocks me down. And he jumps on top of me. I hit an arm bar on him, and then I hit a triangle and tap him. And I get up, and the side of my face has swollen up like I had a grapefruit in my cheek. And I'm cut above the eye. I'm cut below the eye. And I'm like, what in the fuck happened to me? And well, it turns out he was wearing gloves that had like a bar that ran through the palm of them.
He had the Harbinger gloves.
Had Harbinger gloves and hit me one time in the whole fight and freaking just exploded the side of my face.
What a piece of shit.
Well, I mean, and
Nah, you know. Nah. Don't get, that's a piece of shit, dude. Everybody knows that. You take the bar out. It was kind of the unspoken rule.
yeah, so, but I won. And then that evening we were all drinking at the hotel and Pat was like, "Oh, you don't need to go to the hospital. You don't need stitches. We'll get some super glue." Well, we were all drinking and Pat's putting the super glue on my face. And he's like, "All right, close your eye." And he's like, "All right, keep them closed, keep them closed. All right, open your eye." So I go to open my eye. Only one eye opens. He had glued my eyelashes to my cheek right here. And so then, like the whole evening, I'm like walking around like Popeye with only one eye open. And then the next morning, I had to go to the like CVS store and get some like little tiny scissors.
Oh,
And so then I had like my eyelashes stuck to my face, and then no eye on my eye.
Cheat code for everybody at home that uses super glue to close a wound. In order to get super glue off, the pulp from aloe vera removes it.
Does it really?
Yeah. It's an old school boxing trick, and it works. Like I've done it.
I found plenty of old school boxers, and I'm told me that shit. I just walked around with eyelashes on my face for a week. I'm sure Pat probably knew that trick, but he was like, "Eh."
So I'm not sure if this is one of a real one as well. February 17th, 2007, Christopher Adams.
Yep. Yeah,
that is real. Okay.
That was
couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Couldn't find it. And then you roll into Heath Herring, the UFC's first show in Texas, UFC 69 shootout. Two guys from Texas. I'm assuming you're living there at the time. This is when you make the transition.
I was still in Iowa. I think that they like Heath thought I was from Texas also. I remember talking to him later, and he thought
it was his pre-fight interview.
Yeah, but I was not from Texas. And Texas, I lived in Iowa. I had lived in Texas for like a year when I was coaching at TCU, but yeah. So, but that's how they build it. The two cowboys from Texas.
You went for a knee bar on the same side that Heath Herring had. He was injured, I think the left side of his leg. You went for a knee bar on that side. Dude, it's two big guys getting down, and I thought it was a really close fight, man. I thought it was really close. It could have went either way.
I don't remember anything after I took a hook midway through the first round. I don't remember anything after that.
Dude, do you know what Heath Herring's doing right now?
I have no idea. What is he doing?
Cybersecurity.
Get the freak out.
I'm not kidding you. Dude, listen. I'm not kidding. No, he's a suit. He wears a suit and tie to work every day. He won't come on here because he's just like, well, it could affect my professional career. And I'm like, I thought you were a bounty hunter. Like, what? You're what?
Where does he live now?
He's in Amarillo.
Is it? God.
Dude, I haven't called him as much as I've called Keith Hackney in regards to getting him on here.
Mm-hmm.
Like Keith Hackney was supposed to be our first interview. This is like 298. Like you're literally our 298th interview. Yeah. I have called Keith Hackney every 3 fucking months for like 3 or 4 years now. Heath Herring, he's probably got about 25 phone calls from me. An unhealthy amount of phone calls. Cybersecurity, dude. He's got like 3 kids. Like I think 5 on down.
Wow. 5? Is how old is Heath? Is he young?
Bro, listen, I got hit with COVID too. It affected everybody differently. Fucked up my pull-out game. I got a 3-year-old. I'm 50.
I'm 48, and I have a 7-year-old.
Dude, Sam Hoger, we had him on. He's like, "Am I boring you?" I'm like, "Dude, I got a fucking 2-year-old. It's like 9 o'clock at night. No, you're not boring me." So
Sam's in Heath, isn't he still? I think.
cool cat, yeah, good guy. He's good. He's interesting. He walks to the beat of his own drummer, and if you look at his losses, they age like fine wine.
Yeah, freaking yeah. Sam, we would go out and he would like rap to girls, like freestyle rap.
Growing up in Alaska.
Yeah. Everybody
Yeah.
Alaska is weirdo. Every single person. Which isn't a cut down. I like Sam, but Sam's a weirdo for sure. That's the way it is.
Joey bought one of his fights.
What's that?
2. He
Joey
calls me
bought
up
2?
occasionally and sells me videos of his fights that were never televised to raise money for his gym, and I'm a donor.
It's the most Sam story I've ever heard.
Well, I got 2 of them. He's done it to me twice.
Yeah, God love him.
Yeah, Vince Lucero, another real tough guy from the grind, Texas guy. I believe he's from Texas, right?
Arizona or New Mexico.
Arizona. He's one of those Arizona guys. A Roland Soria guy. Bam, you got it. Yeah, you got him. You beat him, and then you go to Tony Mendoza, and then you start going on a crazy run. You got Zach Jenson with a Gogoplata in Minnesota. Who was the promoter for that? Do you remember?
Oh shit, I don't know. There was a shooting in the stands right before I went on. It was at the Target Center, and I was getting ready to go out. I was co-main event or something, and I'm like, "Hey, when are we doing this thing?" They're like, "Oh, we got to hold on. There was a shooting in the crowd." Like, oh, freaking awesome!
How many tickets did Zach sell? Was it the only gun in the audience? You know what I mean? What the fuck?
Yeah. Zach ended up being on one of the Ultimate Fighters, I think.
It was the same one as Wes Sims. I think it was 10, I want to say.
Oh, shit, I don't know.
Did you ever know what happened to him?
Zach?
Yeah.
We're friends on Facebook.
I mean, I'll say it here. I mean, that's public record.
What's that?
So before he got onto the Ultimate Fighter, he was doing bodyguard work.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in Puerto Vallarta bodyguarding the daughter of his boss. And I think he walked in on them in a bathroom, ended up beating the guy to death. To death. Rather than hang out in Puerto Vallarta, he got questioned.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of confused. It's tourists. So I lived in that area. It's the same area where Phil Baroni caught his case. So I was there for like a good year. And with tourists, there's always a hands-off policy. They allowed him to leave the questioning area because they don't get many murders there. Jumps on a plane and goes home.
In Puerto Vallarta?
Yeah, there's not a lot of murders there. Like there's like Tepito, which is like a suburb, which is like a kind of gang ridden.
Yeah.
I got a couple friends there still. But no, he jumped on an airplane, and all of that was going on while he was in the house for the Ultimate Fighter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like they said that he had a complete and total mental breakdown while in the house that they didn't include because of all of the surrounding things happening in his life at the time.
Huh.
Interesting.
It is interesting. I remember after I fought Zach, me and I can't. This is unfortunate, but the guy that cornered for me trained with us in Miletich. We went over to his house, and it was I woke up with a headache. I'll just leave it at that.
You weren't bleeding out of anywhere, I hope.
No. God. He was. Yeah. He knew that I could fight and I could drink at the end of that night. So.
Okay. So you get your first Gogoplata.
Yeah.
you were supposed to schedule. You were scheduled to fight Rueben Villarreal in a stacked card brawl for it all. The entire event gets canceled.
Oh yeah, that was at the freaking Cow Palace.
Were you there when it got canceled? Or was
Yeah.
it? Okay, I know there was something weird happening here. Okay.
We're gonna go over to the venue, like, because the next night they were doing like some professional wrestling thing, and so like Gold Dust was there and Ric Flair was there, and I don't know, I'm not a big professional wrestling guy, but those are the two people that I recognized. And but there's a whole bunch of these professional wrestlers and crap there, and they were doing the next night. We were going to do MMA the first night, and then they canceled the MMA portion of it. And like before we were going over, we had all already weighed in everything, and no one got paid for it. None of us got any money, I don't recall. And then I stayed in Sacramento for a week, and Monty got me a fight in King of the Cage in Reno.
Joey, if you look at the card, I think we had an interview with somebody else that was on this card, and they broke it all down what took place. It was like the guy had no money.
Yeah.
And it was like the transfer funds, like the papers he submitted were forged.
Mm-hmm.
And he was trying to get the door to pay everybody. There was something
like the bare knuckle event that went belly up.
Yeah.
All I knew is I didn't get paid and I didn't get a fight. You know, like, well, shit. Well, I'm going to go to Sacramento and see some friends. And then Monty called me. He's like, "Hey, I don't get too wild. I got you a fight on Saturday." I was like, "Oh, okay."
That was Bo Contrell. You get your second Gogoplata in a row. Shinya Aoki tied you. I think you got the two first. That's pretty incredible, man.
For a heavyweight? Hell yeah.
Come on, bro.
You
got to open up on that. Come on, man. Dude, I mean, here, I mean, stand up. There you go. For real. That's legit, man.
It was good. I was, it is what it is. I can't do it anymore, unfortunately. My knees.
Dude, come on, man. There's no other heavyweight that's even got one. You got two.
I got two. I did. I think maybe the reason I could pull those off is because I didn't have any cartilage left in my knees. Because I could only do it with my left knee. My left knee is one that I blew out. And so I think that it had a lot more flexibility because there was no cartilage holding it together. So I could just,
So it wasn't the yoga. It was the lack of cartilage. It's a good cheat code.
It was a combination.
Was it downward dog combined with, no cartilage?
Yeah. So if you want to do, gogoplatas, just blow your knee out and then.
That's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
It's not a plan. It's not a good plan, but
it is a plan.
It's a good backup plan.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, we've had you for a while. I mean, I think we kind of forced this today because I know your schedule is a little crazy. Could we ask you a couple more? Would you mind?
Yeah, that's fine. I just want to.
I know you're looking at your phone, the time on your phone.
On my phone, I got 20%. So.
Okay, here we go. Roy Nelson, this was kind of what flipped the odometer in regards to your chin.
Yeah. I mean, really, after it was really after the Herring fight, my chin was never the same after that.
Really?
Yeah. I just couldn't take a fight anymore, or couldn't take a punch anymore. And then I had all kinds of other problems. I couldn't keep weight on. I think I was starting to have like low T issues. My joints were going to shit. Like I was basically being held together with duct tape and baling wire at that point in my career, and I held on longer than I should, but I also got out I think probably about the right time. I believe me, I know plenty of guys that hung on too long, and I mean, I have some issues here and there with remembering things sometimes.
Do you microdose? Do you microdose?
No, I do. I do take
Lion's Mane?
like once a week.
You take what?
Are you talking about tests or what are you talking about?
No. Like mushroom supplement.
Oh, that I don't take. Is that good?
Oh, dude, it's phenomenal.
All right, well, send me some information. I'll take it.
Dude, send me your address.
I take everything. Like,
okay. Your address would be a little more better with the information I have for you.
yeah,
Texas is a little strict on their policies, though. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
When I say I take, I don't mean like, I like as far as supplements go. Like I take not eludes and freaking heroin, and no, I don't do that. But I have a regimen, a whole regimen of pills that I take every day.
Okay, good. I mean, you're very coherent. Like you're on.
There was like after I retired from fighting, I had real problems. Like I would get up and walk into a room, not remember why I walked in there. I would go to the store to get 3 things, come back with 10, but not the 3 that I needed. Like start driving and forget to take an exit and just keep driving and forget where I was going. Like I had real problems. And
So how do you correct that?
I went to see a neurologist or whatever, and they put one of the brainiac looking things on my head, and they're like, here you have dead spots in your brain, the black spots or whatever, like symptoms of CTE or whatever the hell they call it. But he put me on some supplements. He's like, first of all, you need to stop getting punched in the head. And then after that, you need to be taking turmeric every day, and you need to be taking like fish oil, and you need to be taking whatever I take. And then and you need to start doing like little brain games like every day. So like I have little games on my phone that if I'm sitting there and I don't have anything to do, I'll pull up a game and I do like puzzles and crosswords and things.
Sudoku, stuff like that, Sudoku.
So those types of things, like things that force my brain to work.
That's cool. And
I read a lot. So I just try to do things to keep my, because it's a muscle like anything else. You got to exercise it. And if you don't, then it atrophies and it dies. And ain't nobody got time for that. So.
No. Your fight with Christianson, July 8th, 2008 on Elite Cage Fighting. There's no way this is a real fight of yours.
But
that was Gary Hoyd's organization. I always enjoyed amateur promoters that would talk about their international office, being like in their basement. That was Gary.
That apology's full of shit.
That's why we're here. We kind of figured this out, dude. Like we do this every once a week. Joey, I really enjoyed watching him fight. Like it was going back and watching your fights again brought back a lot of cool memories, man. And we greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. It's
been a while. You don't do these. Have you ever?
What?
Is this your first podcast?
No. I don't do them very often. I think the last one was a couple of years ago. It was a guy in Australia. But I don't know.
Are you doing some acting now? I saw you take a loss to Dolph Lundgren.
That was a long time. That was in 2000.
Was it?
Come on, Joey.
2000. That was 2007.
Oh, okay.
Long time. No, I have not done any acting since. Actually, Chris Adams that I fought in Florida. Chris is he's like a producer, writer, director, actor now. And he reached out to me, like 7 years ago. He wanted me to be in a movie that he was writing. And I don't know, he reaches out to me like every 6 months to tell me he's still working on it.
Can we ask what you're doing now, or are you willing to talk about it? Or
I am an area manager for a production builder in San Antonio. So I manage like half of San Antonio, like the east side of San Antonio. I manage all the construction managers. So I have like 10 neighborhoods that I'm over and 8 construction managers. And so I walk their houses with them. Communicate with admin, and I do projections and kind of do
Were you a firefighter for a while? Wikipedia thinks you
fire
were.
6 years.
Yeah.
What made you? I mean, that's one of the greatest gigs ever.
Yeah.
My like the cold winters of Missouri, so we moved to Texas.
Okay.
DFW first. I had a couple of jobs doing construction work, and then got a job working for the company I'm with now in September of 2016, I
Okay.
think. And it went really well. I've been promoted like I think 4 times. Um, and it was just I had been in construction my whole life. My dad built custom homes, and so when I was a little kid, I was tarring basements and then going and picking up nails on the job site. And then when I was 13, I started working like 60-hour weeks for my dad. And he was a guy that was, he didn't just manage the jobs. He did everything. So like my dad was, if I don't drive every nail, it's not done right. So the only thing he didn't do is he didn't do concrete, and we didn't do the plumbing, but we pulled wire for electrical. We framed it, sheetrocked it, did the trim. He would spray it for paint. We would roof it. I mean, pretty much everything went in the house. We did it.
That's really cool. You learned a lot. I hope you do that with your children too.
And then my mom was like, just promise me you're not going to get into construction.
Huh.
Fair enough.
How it goes.
You got your brown belt in 2023.
I did. When I retired from fighting, I really like training was very sporadic. Uh, did not train very often. Didn't train consistently at one place or another. But since I trained at a gym in DFW fairly regularly, called 360 Jiu Jitsu, it was a good gym. I enjoyed my time there. And then we moved down here to New Braunfels, and after I was down here for about a year, I didn't really train at all for like a year and a half, and then I started training at New Braunfels Training Center in New Braunfels, and great gym, great professors, and then great training partners. A lot of big guys. I'll give them a shout out. One of my really good friends that I trained with is Aldo De La Garza, who played offensive guard at Texas A&M, and he's a great big guy. He's like 6'4", 6'5", 6'4" probably, and like 280, 290 pounds. Strong as shit. Like I was in college, I benched 565.
Whoa.
When he was in college, I think he benched the same or maybe just a little bit more than me. And we were both like rep tests. I repped 33 times on the rep test. And I think he did that or better. So we're both strong guys. And so he's a great training partner. We beat on each other a little bit here and there. Although he won't train with me no gi. He doesn't like training with me no gi. Because like I am not a great gi guy. Like I'm decent at it, but I am much better without a gi on, and he's much better with a gi on. So he's more than welcome, more than happy to train with me wearing his gi, but then he doesn't want to take it off.
I know the type.
Yeah.
Well, Brad, Joey, want to close this out? Absolute pleasure, man. Truly an honor. Truly an honor. Thank you for your time. Joey?
Yeah, Brad, man, really appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time with us. Good to finally catch up, see what you're up to, and walk us through your career. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks. God bless.
Appreciate it. You too, bro. Joey?
That was good, dude.
Episode 298, dude.
With zero notice, too, man.
Yeah.
That guy agreed to the interview like 30 hours ago. So,
here's the thing with Brad. Like, there's no dirt there. Like, there's no. Let me see. I'm trying to get.
Maybe right underneath the Matt Hughes name, but he definitely didn't want to get into it.
No. Just class act, dude. Absolute class act. Huh. So
I
this
see
is
your
where
little
we're
girl
supposed.
there. Hey,
Yeah, dude. This is the COVID baby.
yeah, COVID baby.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those. Wait, you're what? I mean, we're happy.
Yeah.
We're happy.
Yep. I got asked if I was my son's grandfather a couple of weeks ago, so we're in the same boat.
Like when you look at her, I don't know, it's kind of blurry. You look at her and you look at my wife.
Yeah.
Like the ongoing joke is, well, we know she's my kid. We're just,
Yeah.
not sure who the mom is.
Yeah.
So either way, Joey, absolute pleasure. What are we doing for 300?
God,
I gotta do it.
I'm not gonna say it. Is he returning our calls?
He is. No,
Is he?
that person's not. That one, no, that person's not. All right. I got kind of a crazy week. I'll call him again tomorrow. I'll call that guy again tomorrow. So, I mean, just to kind of a little inside baseball. There's people that text us phone numbers anonymously.
Yeah.
Like we get phone numbers and we're like, oh, this is a legit phone number, but this is a throwaway source.
Right. Yeah. I can't say who hooked me up with it. I don't know.
Right. So we got somebody's phone number. We will get them. And like the world, unless they block my phone number, because I haven't called in a while.
Well, then I'll start calling from my number.
Dude, I think that's
we're playing the long game.
Dude, you know what? That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
That dude, tomorrow you're making a phone call.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll ready.
Okay. And dude, we also got somebody that I've been communicating with that hasn't given an interview in a long time. And we can't do a three-way interview. We can't have a third person on it because it would restrict their phone privileges.
Yes.
If you can read between the lines there. If we get both of those, like my head will lift off. Like I'll go friggin' nuts. We get both of those. We're definitely going to get one. We'll get the one from jail. For sure we'll get the one from jail.
Right.
It's the other guy. But Art Davey also, I think we're going to do UFC 3 with Art Davey. One of
the craziest shows ever.
Harold Howard in the finals. Royce Gracie, dude. Art doesn't pull any punches. Like if you listen to our second Art Davey interview, right out the bat, I start with the Hickson stuff. And like he doesn't back down. So we got like a couple other secrets that were taking place right around that time. And you know what else we can do? When we did our UFC 1 month a couple years ago, we can ask about, like, I got Carlos Valente's name. We got Big John McCarthy about videotaping guys in the locker room.
Yep.
We're going to get all that stuff that didn't make his book.
All right. Looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
Be good. Awesome. Joey, love you, brother. You know what? On November 15th, we're in Coachella. How far is that from you?
Hour and a half.
Could you make it, or is that too far with family and
BKFC?
stuff?
No, I can come out for that.
Okay, awesome. All right, and then if not, dude, I'll swing over by your house. I'll make a trip out by you. All right, bro.
All right, good to see you.
Be good. You too.